If was a fifth, you know how to finish that statement. We've been talking about it for 6 days, the cause and effect, the reaction to every action. If this would have happened, we would have won the game. If the Lions would have kicked the field goal or made the extra point, we would have won a game. And although that is true, you left points on the field, that doesn't determine the outcome of a game. It really doesn't. There are plays that happen before and after that. You never know. If you hit a field goal, there is an ensuing kickoff. So there's a lot that happens after something like that happens. And we're talking about if the Detroit Lions are up 3-0 in Dallas. They got Dallas pinned on the 8-yard line. Derrick Barnes, Aaron Glenn decides to blitz and leave CeeDee Lamb one-on-one with no safety help with Kendall Vildor. Derrick Barnes decides to blitz and he misses the tackle. Because of that, CeeDee Lamb is allowed to essentially walk into the end zone. That put the Dallas Cowboys up 7-3, and you know how the game ended. There's a plethora of ways that the game could have gone both before and after that point. We get that. It's a safety. We're up 5-0. A free kick is kicked, and then we could go up, and we possibly are up 13-0, and we're talking something different. But also, somebody could have muffed the kick. So there's a lot of different things, a lot of different ways that this thing can go. But one thing that is for certain, if Derrick Barnes would have made that tackle, it would have been a safety, and CeeDee Lamb would not have been walking in the end zone for a 92-yard reception. And Derrick Barnes it's funny because we want to blame Derrick Barnes more than we blame Aaron Glenn. And I hear a lot of you guys in this comment section saying, I just don't like Aaron Glenn. That is not true. I am looking at Aaron Glenn's history. It is not one game. It is a combination of things. If you want to look at golf the same way, fine. I'm looking, and I keep talking about this. One good game against a good offense does not change my mind. You let 26 consecutive points be scored in 5 games. Okay, and I said this before. Somebody has to take the blame. It's either the players, it's Glenn, or it's Brad Holmes. But you guys don't want to blame anybody. Nobody. Because, positivity, right? Anyway, let me get back to the point of this video. This video is Derrick Barnes. Finally had something to say, talked to the people over at All Lions, and he talked about what it's been like, about missing a play that basically changed the outcome or help guide the outcome of the game. Here's what he had to say. This is coming from All Lions. Link will be in the description if you want to read the whole article. Says it's the NFL. He's a good quarterback, and stuff like that happens. Also, you've got to take into consideration that players are out here getting fined thousands of dollars, said Barnes. Not that I was afraid of that, but there's penalties. Okay, Derrick, it really sounds like you were afraid of it. He continues. We were backed up, and I didn't want to cause a penalty for my teammates, especially in a critical situation like that, Barnes continued. So I was full speed. I tried to take his head off, and he ended up seeing me at the last minute, and he ducked. I didn't close my eyes. I was trying to get a good shot at him, and he seen me and ducked. That's what the play was. Now, I would have to go back and look at that play. I would have to go back and look at the play. But when I remember watching it in real time, and when they showed the slow motion over and over and over of that play, I remember Derrick Barnes not even attempting to put his arms out. So even if he seen him and ducked, okay, he could have put his right arm out and disrupt the play. He basically shouldered him. He didn't even touch him. So I'm not out there. I don't know. But Derrick Barnes, he kind of contradicted himself. It's like, I'm not scared, but people are getting fined thousands of dollars, and I didn't want to hurt my team. Now, it seems like he might not have been scared physically, but he didn't want to do something. He was so nervous about touching Dak because in his defense, you really can't touch a quarterback anymore. We've seen very touchy calls. Maybe he had the Jerry World in his head. That could have been the case. I mean, we have it in our head being Detroit Lions fans and what everybody seems to have to go through when they deal with Dallas. So at the same time, it's like, really, bro? Like, you play a combat sport for a living. So you got to live and die by what your decisions are, right? So I get it. But at the same time, is it an excuse? Here's what he continued to say. He says, what I want everyone to know is this. The reason is it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I get back to the locker room the next day. My coach told me that that's a play he expects me to make. That's the type of player I am, Barnes told All Lions when discussing our social media posts. And I'll let you check out what that was. The play and being part of that game. That's what he would tell me. But I think that everybody needs to know the only reason it's a big deal to everybody is because they scored a touchdown on it. I'm not making excuses. Next time I'm going to make the play, but I feel like it's only as big as it is because it caused a touchdown. Yeah, kind of. Here's what he continued to say. And this is kind of a telling point. He said, if it wasn't a touchdown, nobody would be having these conversations. Nobody would be asking me these questions. So I think that's crazy to me because stuff happens. I've seen multiple people miss sacks, and it'll be what it is. I'm not trying to be in my feelings about it. I just feel like it's football. That stuff happens. He gets paid more than I do. So he gets paid to do what he does. He's an NFL player. Stuff happens. It's all about how you react. Okay, so what is Dak Prescott getting paid more than him has to do with anything? And then he said earlier in the conversation that these players are getting fined thousands of dollars. Now, Derrick Barnes was a 4th-round pick. I have no idea what his salary was, and I don't want to be overly critical of a guy out there on the field who is literally putting his body on the line. However, I'm not fully understanding so he's saying that if it wasn't a touchdown, we wouldn't be talking about it. Dak Prescott gets paid more than he does. People are getting fined thousands of dollars, but it doesn't have to do with that. Stuff happens. Yes, Derrick, stuff happens. It happens. That's why we talk about everything. If a missed kick ruins the game, determines the outcome of a game at the very end, we're going to talk about it. So I said that same thing earlier, that it caused the touchdown, and this was a 1-point game. So we're not talking about it specifically because it was a touchdown. We're talking about it because it helped decide the outcome of the game. Instead of being up 5, you talk about point swings and momentum swings in the NFL. For as much as I give Aaron Glenn slack, it was 3-0 at the time for the Detroit Lions. You're talking about we went from being up 5 and getting the ball to being down 4, all because of a decision that he made. But unlike you or some of you in the comment section, I'm also going to hold Aaron Glenn responsible. I am. I really am, because you have to have safety help over the top if you have one of the top 5 best receivers in the game. You do. Oh, but if Derrick Barnes make that tackle, if was a 5th, man. You have to have contingency plans when you're playing an offense like Dallas. And as a matter of fact, if you're playing in the NFL, all of these teams are NFL teams. So you're not going to leave one of the best. What is Vildor, undrafted? You're not going to leave him on an island. If Derrick Barnes listen, you have no idea what decisions you're going to have to deal with every single day. How somebody's decision is going to alter somebody's life further down the line, right? So for me, I mean, can I blame Derrick Barnes? I could. Could I be super hard on him? I could. I leave it at this. This is what I'm going to put the blame on. I'm going to put the blame on this. And this is why I absolutely love having a YouTube channel, because I can say and do whatever I want. And it's my prerogative, right? Like Bobby Brown back in the 80s. I can do what I want to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to blame the front 4 and the position that they're in. You should be able to get to the quarterback with the front 4, and we can't do that. So we send a linebacker in who used to be a defensive end, by the way, to blitz. And he's so afraid of touching the quarterback because he doesn't do that often. So he's so afraid of getting fined, of hurting his team, which I guess I understand, that he shoulder bumps Dak. What? You didn't close your eyes. Why would you close your eye? Who closes their? So I'm going to put the blame on the front 4. I'm going to put the blame on the man that put him in there. I'm going to put the blame. Everybody has some blame for this. Derrick Barnes has some blame for missing the tackle. Brad Holmes has some blame for the raggedy front four that we have. Aaron Glenn has some blame for no safety help. And yes, Derrick, everybody's talking about it because you left points. You left points on the table, which came back to eventually bite your team. But Michael Badgley, I mean, you had stuff happen. Dan Campbell, you had a chance to tie the game. You chose to go for the win. So there's enough blame to go around for everyone on the Detroit Lions. Everybody can shoulder some blame. But Derrick Barnes, yes, Derrick, we are talking about it because of what the outcome of the game. And that's why I keep telling y'all, winning covers everything. Also, people are not really talking about, do you think this ineligible man downfield is such a big deal? If we actually would have scored on the pass to James Mitchell, it would have probably been, if it's an 11 now, it would have been a 4 had we actually won that game. The same thing that happened in 2014 with the Dallas Cowboys. Had Dallas not gone back and scored and took the lead and eventually won, we wouldn't still be talking about it like we are now. And that's why I never change. I never sway. I have been screaming about a pass rush as much as you can remember. And I will not stop. I will not also stop holding Aaron Glenn responsible. It's not that I don't like him. I just don't see what you see. And that's two different things. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. You know what? We live in such a cancel culture that people are afraid. They're afraid of how they're going to be viewed and how people are going to react. Here's what you have to understand about me. I appreciate every last one of you, but I don't care about how you feel about my opinion. I don't care. And I said this in a previous video. I would rather be wrong and have a Super Bowl winning team and have everybody on the internet dunk on me as opposed to being right and us sent home packing. So again, if you want the realest Detroit Lions take on YouTube, you're in the right place. I'll see you in the next video.